I know this won't be a normal video. I will mostly ranting just from here without the script, so I warned you. I want to talk about the Hammer Studio. You see, in the recent days, I chose one day, and on that day, I mostly watched through every Hammer title. Of course, that's impossible to do it properly, so I did not watch everything from start to finish. That's impossible. But these are very old movies, and I did a similar project when I watched every single Hungarian movie that could be found on the internet, and I did watch them from start to finish. That was a terrible experience, and I have like 4,000 watch titles on according to IMDb, so I'm really watching, and I just instantly put a rating on IMDb just to mark it. Yes, I have read it. I was mistaken. It's almost 6,000 titles. 5,908 titles by the current counting. So if I start to watch a movie, I can, with let's say 90% accuracy, it's not 100%, because I have experienced this kind of phenomena that I watched through the whole movie. Yep, I was wrong, and I accepted, yes, I was wrong. So keep that in mind. And I also did not watch the Hammer Universal Monster movie universe. Frankenstein, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Dracula, the female Dracula, whatever the name of it was, Frankenstein. I did not watch those, because what can I tell you about them? That would need a dedicated video. And second, who cares? Everyone in their grandmas told you about dolls. I want to talk about the Hammer Studio. There was like a dozen movies I could not find, mostly from before 1960, and there was one title from 73, Man at Top. Yeah, I could not find that one, but I even found all the reopened Hammer Studio movies. Those are mostly using hit movies as foundation for their movies, and they are very incompetent most of the times. Like, they have a Shining wannabe and Pet Cemetery wannabe, that kind of stuff. Just the character motivations are missing, entire scenes missing to tell you what the fuck is going on. So they really try to just tick boxes in the modern Hammer. They have some, well, technically, on the technical aspect, they are competent. So, if you only have TV and not computer, well, you probably stumble into them and don't turn off the TV or switch the channel. Anyway, did you know that Hammer was originally about crime movies? Like Columbo and NCIS and all that kind of jazz. Most of their catalogs, even today, is that kind of mystery, crime mystery. Who done it? And it's most of the time not even some supernatural monster, just a regular killer, murderer. I never heard about this aspect of Hammer Studio. I don't know why. Somebody should have told me. They also have a whole Robin Hood series. And when I stumbled into however many titles, I did not know that. Blood Island. They have only 2 movies, but I was watching so fast, so rapidly, that I thought there is a whole series of it. It's a whole franchise, but apparently it's not. By the way, don't do this kind of stuff, rapidly picking movies and judging them from the first 5 to 15 minutes. One, it's hilarious, so it's yeah, I just have too much experience with this kind of shit. But the other thing is, it drains your brain. You will have serious headache. It starves your brain from sugar and all kind of that, and even the next day you will be below 50% of what you are capable of, so keep that in mind. They also did regularly comedies, even horror comedies, but whatever, when Hammer does comedy, no matter which era, it's bad. It's not funny. It's not English humor or whatever. It's, I understand, yeah, that's English humor, I find it funny, but Hammer is not funny. Mostly they do this, oh, she has a high-pitched noise and that's funny. No, it's not. Another weird aspect is that, like the 60s, somewhere before that, they already did some, we are the British Empire, we rule, or we ruled, now we are ashamed of it a bit, but whatever. But they really got into this mindset in the 60s with World War II movies. Where did it come from? Why did they think that will be attractive to the audience and profitable and all that? I have no idea. Now, back to Hammer being the crime studio. Then came Cushing. Later they got that, who played the werewolf guy, he has the name Junior in his name, whatever, occasionally, and they also had Christopher Lee as regular, but when they got Cushing became Hammer. And when one person becomes an entire company, like Elon Musk for Tesla, or there must be a lot of different examples, that means the death of the studio. Because the person, the face of the studio, will age out if you don't replace it sooner or later. And Cushing became Hammer. He even played 74. That was the closing year of Hammer Studio. No, 76. They released one last movie, The Devil's Daughter, where I was, will this movie tell me why I should care what is happening? It's not bad what is happening, but give me a reason why I should care. I checked up to Wikipedia, and it seems they simply forgot to put in one line that would make the movie interesting for the audience. To mention that the sect in it, what was funded by some Catholic priest, is a satanic cult. Of course, I wouldn't have minded if that's substantiated in some way. Tell me what they actually believe, and before the grand monologue, like, you know, the end of the movie or something like that. So, 74, Cushing was even in the Legend of the Seven Golden Vampire, which is a badass title. It's like Big Trouble in Little China. And it's kind of equally a flop to the expectations. It's like a, a Bruce Lee karate movie, but not exactly peak cinema today. And I heard the whole canon of the Universal Monster movies just collapsed when the studio started to fall out and start going into bankruptcy. So yeah, there is that. By the way, if you find Manet Top, I would be interested if you have a link or somehow just post it to me, like, Agaric at freemail.hu. That's an email that will service for this purpose. There were some experimentation when you notice that they start to go in the wrong direction financially or something creatively, because they start to experiment with genres. Like, there appear more comedies, or they had an entire trilogy or something, caveman movies. Vampire Circus was pedo vampires. There is no excuse for it. There was some incest fetish movie. So I was like, what the hell I am even watching? But there were some good titles, so I will tell you the good stuff now. Woman in Black, Angel of Death. That's the Woman in Black 2. I found it a good ghost story. It's World War II surroundings, that I didn't like the Woman in Black 1 because it's too much, just a misery porn kind of thing, and it's too realistic. The ghosts don't really do much, it's mostly just drama. But the supernatural aspects for the Woman in Black 2 is stronger, so I liked it much better. Then there was Moon 02. This is a science fiction movie it's exploitation cinema. What else to tell? So, if you like or tolerate exploitation cinema, Moon 02 is kinda period piece. Then Quatermass and the Pit. I didn't like all the Quatermass movies, but Quatermass and the Pit I liked. It was good. Then there was the Viking Queen. It's an adventure movie. It works. It's fun to watch. Although it plays in the ancient Rome, so a Viking woman in the ancient Rome, well, I can work with it. It's just an adventure flick. It's okay. The Abominable Snowman, it's much earlier. Now we are back in 57. Is interesting. Not good. Not necessarily good, but interesting. It has it's of the avalanches and all that snowy mountain things, expedition stuff pretty well. And that the abominable snowman is not just an aggressive animal monster out there. It's even the good guys. It was, for its period, it's pretty advanced. But the real stuff, this is kind of an unsung hero, unsung gem, hidden gem. X the Unknown. It's a sci-fi catastrophe movie which has a lava monster. Why hide it? Yeah, it's a lava monster. And while it's not as good as like Damn, the science part is pretty well built up. So yeah, kudos for that. I like that. And there was The House of Across the Lake, aka Heatwave. If you like noir movies, for noir enthusiasts, yeah. If you are not noir enthusiast, Always Raining, black and white, some cynical detective narrating what's happening on the screen, then you won't like it. But if you are into that kind of stuff, it's good. The caveman movies also versatile. Maybe you like one of them. For the muscled people, muscled hairy people, and occasional fitness women in it. They barely were even clothes, so there is that. There is even stop motion monsters and all that kind of threats coming, so if you are into that, give it a try. They are even colored as far as I can remember. That's a big plus. Then there was The Adventures of PC-49, aka The Case of the Guardian Angel. If you change the music, I mean, if they would make a revamped version like they do with computer games, just update the graphic, chisel out some of the old stuff. Here, seriously, if you just write a new music for it, it would work. And again, as Hammer was into crime movies, River Patrol. When I started to watch the first period, like the 30s and 40s, you can really feel that Hammer was on the top of his game with these crime movies. Later they just running it through the machine, so they got less interesting, but Hammer was the crime studio, so they kept doing them, but the early movies are better, and from them my favorite was River Patrol, so I mentioned the title. Now there is still one film I have not watched. Reptile. The Reptile from 1966. I was like, okay, I just filter out the bad stuff and mark those I will come back next day, because even with my speed, as I said, I steamrolled through most of the catalog in one day, but I did come back on the second and even third day to watch what I marked. Yeah, these were more attention than I still can offer today. And the reptile, I saw reviews about it. My dark corner of this sick world. Yeah, and that kind of channels made by Cinema Sucker, I think, also mentioned this. Maybe in a double feature with what I really hated, The Plague of Zombies, from the same year, 1966. Uh, but I started Reptile, and I was second, fifth minute, I was playing something while watching it, and I want to stop this. This looks so ridiculous. I want to enjoy the whole of it. So I think I will watch it tomorrow. And I suggest you take a peek of it, because that looks big bad cinema.